Humans are social beings. This has always been our characteristic feature, something that makes humans stand out. And for every society, there have always been groups of people who break social rules and flout them for their own purposes. Think of the Wild West or the Prohibition era. The same scenario is seen in the world of computer systems. It would be really naive to think that the internet would somehow be exempt from the same criminal mechanisms that can be witnessed everywhere else. Crooks and outlaws existed from the beginning of history. Would they simply disappear now? Unfortunately, this is not the case. They seem to have found a niche for themselves, just like the rum runners of the Prohibition, and exploit it without remorse. What's even worse, they're becoming more and more effective. And this is the main reason why the security of computer systems is lately in decline instead of improving. 85% is an important number. This is the percentage of attacks which are vectored in ways that render your typical protection measures, such as antivirus scanners, software upgrades for both operating systems and installed applications, or constantly enabled firewalls, essentially useless. These attacks are performed either internally, locally, or through social engineering. Tricks and techniques that manipulate people. In both cases, these attacks cannot be stopped by the protection measures I've just listed. 85 is also an important number for other reasons. The mentioned security measures, firewalls, updates, and scanners are all important. They should be enabled and supported on all systems. It's not true that they bring no real results. At the very least, you can pretend you're protected. Don't make yourself an easy target. Not having these protections is like leaving your car running with your keys in it in an unknown district. At least close the door. The risk of theft is still high, but at least you've done something to secure your resources. And don't get me wrong, I don't want you to get rid of your antivirus scanner. On the contrary, leave it enabled and updated often, even every day. The problem is that when cybercriminals decide that you have some valuable resources or your system is for some other reason worth attacking, this scanner will fail 85% of the time. The first module of this course, which I invite you to take, will tell you above all which popular computer system security beliefs are actually myths. Myths that originated or laziness, customs, or from applying outdated information to new phenomena. It will also comment on security issues that stem from the rise of organized crime in cyberspace. Remember that there are companies set up in some countries which recruit programmers to create malicious code. Running viruses has become a day job for some. From 9 to 5, these people sit in their cubicles and write code that you wouldn't want to come across in your systems. The module will also talk about cyber war and terrorism, two issues that have already become reality. We have already been able to witness some instances of cyber war. Another of our topics will be the consumerization of IT and how it affects security. Risks and threats will also be covered in this first module. We'll try to classify their types and discover why they affect virtually everyone. Unfortunately, if you think that you wouldn't be the target of attacks because your business is small scale, you only have 6 computers, your monthly turnover is not big, and you produce no new technologies, so there's really nothing to be stolen, think again. The real situation doesn't look so bright. The last issue will be covered in the point titled The Final Goal of Attacks, which explores the motives which current cybercriminals might have to attack you. See you in the training.